Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and so let's continue our Neo4j CRUD. Yesterday we touched the API structure, and today we are going to tackle the graph structure. We already have our API, so let's go to our VS Code here. Just as every step we are adding our changes to Git, so as our last step was the API structure, let's commit it. And let's start all our process by running nx run many target serve --all. Okay, so we have, let's split the terminal here, and let's run our Neo4j Docker as well. All right, let's wait a little more. It started. Let's go to our browser and check that our API is running. All those movies are coming from Neo4j in our local instance. All right, so now we are going to see the graph structure. We already have some level of graph. We have this getAll method, but we are going to move it to a separate file that will store all the queries. All right, I'm going to move this window to my second monitor, and now we have the VS Code here. So first step, we are going to our packages, graph, and source. We are going to go to movies to create a new folder here called query. Okay, so back to our previous file. Okay, let's create getAll.ts and export const getAll equal string literal, and here let's write some cipher queries. And so with toLower search as search. So this line is going to receive the search parameter and store it in lowercase in the search variable. And with that, let's match all the movies where search is null in case the search is empty or it was not defined, or search is equal to an empty string, or toLower our move title will contain the search. With that, let's return movie and with all its properties, and additionally we are going to add the Neo4j ID, and let's order it by movie. All right, so this is the getAll query. Now let's create another one. So new file, get by ID. This one will be an easy one, .ts. So let's export const get by ID will be equal to a string literal, and let's match a movie from label movie, and where ID movie will be equal the parameter ID, and let's return the same structure with all the movie properties using this dot asterisk notation, and ID will be equal to ID movie. All right, let's save it and let's create another query. This one is to create new movies, right? So new file, create .ts and we are going to export const create be equal to string literal, and we are going to create a new node, and we are going to set the movie title will be equal to the parameter that we received title, and movie dot released will be equal to the parameter move dot released, and movie dot tagline will be equal to the parameter movie dot tagline, of course. And let's return a movie, the movie that we just created, with all its properties and ID equal its ID. All right, I believe it's correct. And following the same pattern, when we have a directory, we are going to create a new file, an index file .ts, and let's export everything from get all. Let's export everything from get by ID, and let's export everything from .create. All right. Previously, we created this movies graph that is exporting all the necessary methods, that will export all the necessary methods to interact with the graph. And so we have this session from Neo4j, and we have movies query result from shared. Let's import the movie types here, and let's import all the queries that we just created. So we are going to import everything as queries from .queries. All right. And now this getAll, the query is prepared to receive the search, which will be equal to an empty string as its default value. And the result will come from session run. And instead of this query, we are going to use the imported one. So it will be in queries.getAll. And we need to pass as the second parameter here in the function, it will be the search. Right? The records will be the same, and we will return records. All right, now let's create get by ID, which will be an async, and we need to pass the ID number here, and its result will be equal await session.run. Let's run cipher query, which will return a movie query result, and we are going to pass the queries that we just imported, and they would be get by ID, and of course we need to pass the ID parameter here. Movies query result, it's missing an S here. And const records will be equal to result dot records dot map for each one, for each record. Let's get movie. Get by ID should return just one single movie, okay? With the same ID, of course, that we pass as a parameter. So here we are going to return just a single record, and to do that, I'm going to use pop. All right. Finally, let's create a sync. This one, we are going to pass all the properties required to create a movie, and the result will be equal to await session, Neo4j session, dot run. Let's run a query, and movies query result, and the query queries dot create, of course, and here we are going to pass the movie. The records will be result dot records dot map for each record, extract record dot get movie. And finally, let's return records dot pop, because we created only one movie, and of course we will return the movie, the single one that we just created. I'm missing a comma here, and the code looks good. All right, next step, let's check if our application still runs. So let's move our browser tab here, and let's go to movies and reload the application. Great. The movies are being retrieved, and like in the previous chapter where we improved the API structure, now we just improved the graph structure by splitting the queries into this directory and using it in the graph movies. All right? I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next chapter. Bye bye.